Okay, we're doing a tire wheel removal, brake pads, calipers for a 2014 X3 BMW, and this should be good for 2010 through 2016, but you check your owner's manual. These are the tools you'll need. This is for an electronic parking brake as well. So you have 11/16, that takes off the lugs for the wheel removal. And we do have a torque wrench. The torque on it is 89 pounds. The back side of the caliper uses a socket. You can use a 13 millimeter socket. If the nut on the inside where the spring is on the caliper slips, you use a 14 to hold open end to hold that in place. And then a 15 if you're replacing the whole caliper, which you don't need to do if you're just replacing the brakes, the brake pads. But if you're replacing the whole caliper, you need a 15 millimeter on the far left there to do the remove the hose from the caliper itself. And so here's our old caliper from the other side. You can see the hose removal is right here, and I believe that's a 15 millimeter. So you want to make sure the jack is on this post here. And you jack it up, and then you always want to use jack stands as just a double safety measure. So we broke the lugs loose with the pull handle here first, and took the remainder of it off with a drill. Now that the car is off the ground, the wheel weight is off the ground, the lugs have already been broken, or broken loose. So now we can just take them off with just a standard drill. Okay, so you've got 13 millimeter here, and then on the bottom that takes the brake caliper off. This is a sensor. It pops off. There's just a little catch right here. You have to lift up. Do that with a pick, and lift up this catch, and this just pulls out. And then you're gonna take those off now that they're finger tight, and on the top and the bottom, and that caliper should just slide out. Jiggle it a little bit, and then that slides out. Your caliper's all pushed all the way in almost. If it's not, when you go to put on new parking brakes, I just personally use a C-clamp, and I'll attach it to this end and then the other end and push it in a little bit. So you're going to, those brake pads, just go in these little clamps. There's a metal clamp on the top and the bottom. Your case may come with new ones. You can replace those if you like. They are, here's the new caliper and brake pads, and there are new brackets in there inside where the brake pads go. So see these same brackets right here are what's in there. We're just using the same ones that are originally in there. We're not taking this bracket piece off. We're changing this caliper. We have the new brakes in, and they're in these little brackets right here. See these little brackets? We just use the old brackets, but feel free to use the new bracket. Okay, so the back side of the caliper where the brake fluid goes in is a 14, not a 15. You want to put a pan like this underneath. You won't lose much fluid at all if you immediately take it off. We're breaking it loose, so we put the caliper back on. So we just hand tight these bolts here and put it hand tight so that we can get some leverage on the brake fluid line. And it's a 14 millimeter. We're gonna break it and then break it loose, and then we're going to not yet take it off. We're gonna take the caliper back off right here, and the nut on the bottom, and then we'll hold the brake hose up above this level, and you lose minimal fluid. You may have to tap these a little bit with a hammer just to break them loose, and then it'll get to the point where it's finger tight. So as you get it finger tight, the best way you can do it is to rotate the whole caliper itself, because this is a hard line. So see how we're rotating the caliper itself, because this won't twist up. Okay, here's the new caliper, and this is the brake fluid line. You just take that out and you do the reverse. We've got the brake line held up, and so again, minimal fluid loss. We're gonna rotate the whole caliper itself to put it back in to about finger tight. Now we're putting the caliper back on, the bolt on top and the bolt on the bottom, but we can't neglect to go back, and so we hand tighten the whole caliper on to this brake line. Once we've got it secure here, the caliper on the top and the bottom, right here and on the bottom where we're doing right now, we got to go back to this brake line and tighten it down with a wrench. And it is a, what millimeter?
14.
A 14 millimeter we decided back here. The 15 was for this. If this starts to spin while you're tightening this outside, you need to hold it secure with the 15. Okay, lastly, you reclip the electronic parking brake right here. Make sure that is secure and it sits on the clip. On the other side, on the passenger side, there is a brake pad sensor right here, and you should have a clip that goes in there as well as the sensor, and it's just a plug-and-play system. You just pull it out and put it back in. Okay, to reinstall the wheel, you put it in there, put the lugs up again, match them up with the holes, and we did them finger tight. And now we're going to cross body them, cross them, and we've got our drill to 17 just so it doesn't jerk it out of the hand. We'll go with the torque wrench at 89 and set to 89, which is what it calls for this car. And then we'll tighten it down a little bit more, and then we'll set the car on the ground and finish tightening. And we're all done. About 30 minutes for each one.